Hey, welcome back, everybody. Today I want to talk about Elon Musk. I kind of told myself I'd stop talking about political things, but I want to actually go back in time to like last week or like a little bit further.
It must be some kind of hot tub time machine.
Because I want to talk about the press conference that he had, and then I want to go into the Joe Rogan podcast episode where he was talking about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme, and then I want to go into a debate that I had. We were talking about the illegal immigrants coming in and taking all the money and whatever, you know, all the conspiracy theories about how they're on government assistance. So before I begin, I want to just, say there's a reason why I'm coming back in time here. And firstly, I want to start off with what he did with Path of Exile 2, where he was lying about Path of Exile 2. It feels like he's a very insecure man.
He is clicking on a grayed out node. He is repeatedly clicking on it, expecting something different to happen. It's fucking grayed out, goofball.
Clicking this node, expecting something to happen, and then he finally kind of gives up after a while.
He is not articulate. He does not pronunciate well. He does not speak well in public. I'm not saying I'm a great speaker or a public speaker, but I speak better than fucking Elon Musk. So I wanted to start here and just kind of go off the things that he said, because there's one particular piece of information that I want to take out of this that is very prevalent.
We spend a lot of money on defense. But and if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential.
Honestly, the only reason why these social programs exist to help other people, there's a various amount of reasons. For USAID, a lot of it was because of the Cold War. A lot of the federal programs, like Social Security and Medicaid, are effectively in place to help people in the country because we have certain crises like the healthcare industry and the pharmaceutical industry. Health insurance is predatory, denied claims every single day. This is why we had that big blow up with Luigi Mangione. Ben Shapiro himself was coming out and saying, all these liberals, all these leftists are all celebrating the murder. It's a murder. His entire fan base turned around and said, no, Ben, you're wrong. His entire fan base of Republicans turned around and said, no, this was kind of a good thing. So when you have a predatory healthcare system, a predatory insurance, and you can't afford to get the healthcare that you need, a lot of people are going for social services to try to get those healthcare because they're going to die. You're going to die if you don't get help. Those social programs, sure, if they're bankrupting us, the reason why that they exist in the first place is because we have unregulated capitalism. The unregulated capitalism of raising prices is price gouging. So you have these pharmaceutical industry is price gouging people for medicine that doesn't even cure them. Why are we targeting the programs that are helping people but not targeting the cause to why those programs exist? It's because they're not smart. They're not smart. Elon Musk is not smart. Donald Trump is not smart. They're relatively stupid. I'm going to be completely blunt and say that they're absolutely dumb.
There are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. They seem to be mysteriously, they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it.
How many people? Because you're talking about, whoa, okay, hang on a second.
Where does it come from?
Where's it come from?
And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense.
Yeah, but how do you know that? Okay, so that's you're looking at a likeliness. He's never shown the people who have gotten wealthy. He's never shown if there was any money wire transferred to any of their accounts. He's never actually shown any evidence of any fraud. He's shown evidence of contracts that he doesn't agree with.
Fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
This is big oopsie that he's about to talk about. And the oopsie is that we sent $50 million of condoms to a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, any
Okay, so he's not taking any accountability for what he said. So what the Republican agenda does is they take a demographic of people. They take illegal immigrants and they say the illegal immigrants are suckling on all the welfare. They're taking all the social programs, and that's why we're having economic turmoil and inflation is so high. That's the reason, right? They're saying, oh, Haitians are eating cats and dogs in Ohio. They're saying, oh, we're sending millions of dollars to terrorist organizations. They're trying to say the most radical, obscene things to try to make people believe that their own bias, where they go, oh my God, the Democrats are terrorists. They are trying to give money to terrorist organizations because they hate America. They're trying to. It's basically like an emotional fallacy. It's an appeal to emotion fallacy where they're trying to make you feel more patriotic and make you feel like your fellow American is bad. But he's saying, oh, we didn't do that on purpose. It was an accident. Nobody's going to bat 1,000. It wasn't, some of the things I say is going to be incorrect, even though it was a deliberate statement that we're sending money to terrorist organizations. It's literally like a claim. That's unbelievably wrong. You can't just say, haha, it's an oopsie. No, you literally made quite a malicious claim that a group of people were doing a crime, like were laundering money to a fucking terrorist organization. How do people see this and go, yeah, ha, it's just an oopsie. No one's done a bat 1,000. How do people see this and just think that? I literally made a TikTok about this. To Republicans, conservatives, and all great Americans, Elon Musk just putting it on the line in order to help our nation, and he is doing a fantastic job. But the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and collusively boycott Tesla. What is an illegal boycott? You may or may not know this, but an illegal boycott is when a competitor is boycotting your product because they just want consumers to come to them instead of you. There is usually an economic benefit that a party receives by boycotting another company or etc. So consumers, a legal boycott, a regular boycott, is over political and social change. Political and social change to boycott Tesla because there's an unelected official that's running amok in the White House with no oversight, no third-party organizations. So the biggest thing that we're talking about is how Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Let's move over to that.
I mean, Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Which it isn't. Okay, let's talk about that.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately. But the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying.
Brother, just speak. Holy shit, he can't talk.
Like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. There are fewer babies being born, so you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
That's like the one time he's ever made sense to me. All right, let's keep going.
Being a buzzkill here.
Did you see...
So we better fix what we got right now, because if it's bad now, it's going to be much worse in the future.
There was an interview with this woman who was a whistleblower. Yeah. Did we ever find out if that was true?
There's so many whistles being blown. It's hard to keep track.
A lot of whistles. This one lady...
It was only in one state. It was very specific and sensitive,
right,
I believe.
But it was using Social Security money, correct? That was her.
I don't know.
That was her allegation. No. So what she was alleging was that she was in charge of turning illegal immigrants into clients. That's what they would call them, and that she would go to them and try to ask them, "Do you have a headache? Do you have back problems?
Yes.
If you do, now you can be permanently disabled. You get permanent disability, so you get Social Security for life."
Yes.
To try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah. And long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life. Well, that's right. And so they started to try to get the clients. Once they we're going to call clients. They're not clients. Okay. Because clients pay. Sure. Well, we are doing that when first we sign up Social Security.
You're just going to believe hearsay evidence from this whistleblower, and she's just like a Karen, and she's like sitting here giggling the whole time with no evidence.
This is unbelievable.
This is literally just a bunch of yapping. Holy shit. Oh my God. All right, so this isn't credible. That's not credible. Okay, well, yeah, that's not credible. That's not credible whatsoever. That's bullshit.
Security, but disability, which is even more.
Right, and you get them on the taxpayer dole right away the moment, and they're illegal aliens.
Yes. Like, why is the Democrat propaganda machine so fired up to destroy me? That's the main reason.
Because you're an unelected official and slashing programs for seemingly no reason, because you're not providing any evidence and you're not having any transparency besides like the fucking Excel documents that you're posting on X, like they're real documents, which you have no oversight. So there's no third-party organizations that are looking at you to keep you in check. There's nobody that feels like they have the obligation to make sure that what you're saying is right, that has any kind of oversight and power over you to look and verify. Like, there's no verification, okay? There's no CAPTCHA going on here. You're just posting shit. And you're saying that we should just believe it because you're trying to help us and you're genuine. That's unbelievable. That is so unbelievable. So you're trying to say that a multi-organization level Ponzi scheme, right? So Social Security, millions of 100 plus to like 300-year-old people are on Social Security benefits, and they're getting these benefits. So that means millions of wire transfers are being sent out to pretty much every bank. It's going to be every bank. So there's going to be Bank of America, there's going to be Suncoast. There's going to be tons of different banks that are getting this information in tons of different states that have tons of different state fraud organizations that all have their own special personal interests, that with millions of people who are allegedly fraudulently taking Social Security. It is the most unbelievable lie. There's no common sense. Every state organization fraud, over 50 states, they are working with their own personal interests to make sure that there's no fraud being committed. There are federal agencies that have their own personal interests that are, not always aligned with other federal agencies. The reason why we have multi-organization layers is to make sure that we double check things. And you're telling me that this is a massive multi-organization level scam, but your solution to fix that is to get rid of every possible verification and to just believe one group of people. That is the most unbelievable bullshit I have ever heard in my entire life. Due to the defunding of the Department of Education and the slashing of that, obviously that's going to be bad for a lot of red states, because a lot of blue states have state funding, and their state funding goes to education a lot, and red states don't do that. So actually, when you defund the Department of Education, that's going to hurt red states more. And also, the Department of Education isn't failing children because the children aren't, there's no curriculum that is being made. What is taught to children is not set in stone by the Department of Education. That is via the states and via the counties. So I do understand where he comes from when he talks about the obligation. I'm not well informed on if that is accurate or not, because there are less people having kids, and the reason there's less people having kids is, let's full circle back to the healthcare industry. It's expensive to have kids. I mean, I have 3 kids. It's very obvious. It's very expensive. I'm on social programs. I'm on Medicaid. I need my kids to be on Medicaid because I want them to have health insurance. I want them to be taken care of. I want them to get their vaccines. I want them to get, help if they need it. If they need to go get fucking a cast for a broken arm, which that's happened, they need to be able to do that because I can't afford it. I work full time. It doesn't matter. And the funny thing about Elon is that he brings his kid like everywhere, like literally everywhere, to the most important adult conversations in the entire country. But in my divorce agreement with Peaches from the Two Better podcast, we're not allowed to the kids aren't really allowed to know about the struggles of adults or like the adult things in general. They're not supposed to be an earshot conversation of like adult things because it's not good for them. So like, I don't see how this is good for his kid at all, but like, what the fuck? All right, so I wanted to talk about this because this was sent to me and someone was trying to fact check me, and I wanted to really discuss this. This is along the lines of Social Security and talking about those benefits with illegal immigrants.
Taxpayers in New York City have spent around $4.75 billion on illegal immigrants over the course.
All right, so before she keeps going, $4.75 billion on illegal immigrants. Please remember that.
And let's start with where specifically is all of that money going?
Mainly social services. So according to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, they've spent $1.98 billion on housing and rent for illegal immigrants, about $2 billion on services and supplies, nearly $500 million on food and medical costs.
But it's not just New York City. In fact, California has also invested in benefits for illegal immigrants.
Yeah, states and cities across the country are coughing up quite a bit of cash here. California spent around $22 billion in...
All right, I'll explain this better than her. So basically, 304,000 illegal aliens got state-funded medical care costs. Okay, so this is basically the evidence that was provided to me that, oh my God, immigrants are on Social Security benefits. Oh my God, they are on Medicaid, and they are getting SNAP benefits. And these are all federal things. Okay, these are all federal benefits, and basically everything that they just sent me here is state benefits. But let's go ahead and keep talking about it, because they're saying that there was 304,000 illegal aliens. So I put this together. 11.8% of the entire United States population is California. 304,000 illegal immigrants is 0.77% of the entire state of California's population effectively, which is so unbelievably insignificant of a number. Again, reminder that this is state funded, not federally funded, so completely disconnected from federal social benefits such as Medicaid. These are state taxes. The New York state budget is somewhere between $253 billion a year, and they spent $6 billion over 3 years. I know it said 5.46 or something, but I'm going to kind of round up because it's not really significant. The average that they spent every year so far is $1.82 billion on average on these social benefits for illegal immigrants. That is only 0.72% of their state's entire budget. So Republicans are obsessed about correcting the economy, but the things that they're focusing on trying to correct is going to fix less than 1% of our problems. It's not our problem. Our problem is corporate price gouging, income inequality, people not being paid enough to survive and live. And we say, oh, it's supposed to be merit-based. You're supposed to just go out and get a job that pays higher. That's the reason why you're just not getting paid enough, because you're a lazy piece of shit. You're not going out and getting a better job. There's a reason why we had the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. I've talked about it a ton on my channel about the minimum wage and how it was created as a standard of living. So this is the kind of behavior that I'm talking about when I say that he's a piece of shit. Why 90% of America loves DOGE. Watching Trump/federal programs knowing it doesn't affect you because you're not a member of the parasite class. Over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Basically, most of the country is so unbelievably close to being poor. They're literally like a few paychecks away or one paycheck away from being in literal poverty. You have one car problem, one healthcare problem, and you're probably on the street. It's an unbelievable take to say that the working class people are a parasite class. As a man who has a net worth of like over like $400 billion now, which is unbelievable. You have multi-billion-dollar corporations such as Walmart, such as McDonald's, who are racking in billions of dollars of profit every year, bragging about record high profits, quite literally posting their numbers of record high profits every single year, which is stolen wages, by the way, if you didn't know that. And people go around, they'll say, oh no, the stores only get like a 3% profit. You know, those restaurants are only getting like between like a 0 to 3% profit margin. It's like, yeah, because they're depositing money to a fucking corporation. It's like, you don't understand what they're doing. It's a franchise. These are franchises that are literally ripping people off. Long story short, I don't think Elon is intelligent. I feel like this all started when he did that stupid shit where he was going live at the border trying to fix the border problem. But it was actually just the fact that X finally had a feature to where you could go live on X, and he was just testing it out. So he was like effectively just like pulling out his phone and just going, look at me, I'm live on X. Hey, what's up? I'm at the border. I'm trying to solve the border problem. Look at all these poor illegal immigrants, or these immigrants trying to get in cages behind me. Look at these people. Oh my God, it's so bad here. Look how bad it is. And then he just like left, and that was like it. And he didn't like help anybody because he's fucking stupid. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all I want to talk about. Thanks. See ya.
I see some dreams will never look back. When treasure